Most high schools teach English, science, history, and math, but they don't teach money management. Only 1/3 of American adults could answer the majority of questions on fundamental financial concepts. Black and Hispanics tend to have even lower financial literacy scores.
We have a massive weakness. It is our lack of financial literacy. Financial literacy is being able to understand money and how it works.
Parents who don't send their children to school risk going to jail. Why don't public schools teach financial literacy since the government is so committed to enforcing teaching kids? Financial education is an essential life skill that enables people to make wise financial decisions, yet it is still mostly lacking in schools' curricula in the United States. This worrying gap leaves many young adults ill-prepared to tackle the complexity of personal finance, and the lack of comprehensive financial instruction in schools makes this problem worse. There is no denying that financial literacy is at an all-time low, with more than 80% of Americans unable to understand a tax form and 1 in 4 American student loan debtors in default. For the ordinary American, financial language is complicated and challenging to comprehend completely. As a result, many adults get intimidated and refrain from raising necessary inquiries about their financial situation. We are taught that to put a roof over our heads and survive, we just need money. The everyday customer may occasionally find it too simple to feel overwhelmed by financial information. But what about the parents, you may say? Shouldn't they be responsible for educating their children about personal finance? Well, I suppose you have a point. The issue is that a child's familial background might significantly impact the financial education they receive at home. For instance, children of property-rich, enterprising parents would learn entirely different lessons about money than children whose parents make a minimum wage and are mired in a cycle of debt. When parents make poor financial decisions or experience debt issues, these money behaviors frequently trickle down to their children. An excellent example of this is how many young athletes spend their money on their vices, such as partying, golfing, or fine dining at pricey restaurants. Once these young athletes begin making money from professional sports, they will have millions of dollars at their disposal to support their vices and the friends and family who frequently don't have jobs and usually go along for the ride. They begin taking advantage of these athletes with bad business ideas, persuading them to make costly purchases, demanding pricey gifts, and generally being careless with money. These young athletes are unable to help themselves since in many cases they have observed and learned this behavior from their own families. Now think about this. For the past 100 years, all states have required students between the ages of 6 and 17 to attend school. Parents who don't send their children to school risk going to jail. Great. Then I have a question. Why don't public schools teach financial literacy since the government is so committed to enforcing teaching kids? Here are some of the reasons why financial education is not taught in our schools. Number 1, lack of prioritization and standardization. The lack of national standards and priorities is one of the leading causes of the absence of financial education in U.S. schools. Significant differences in the disciplines taught stem from state and municipal governments deciding most education policy and curriculum requirements. As a result, other topics like math, physics, and English are frequently prioritized above financial education since they are considered more critical. Number 2, limited resources and budget restraints. Programs for financial education require resources, such as qualified instructors, lesson plans, and continuous assistance. Budget restrictions in many schools make it difficult to devote money to extracurricular programs in addition to the required curriculum. Financial education is frequently neglected due to a need for more funding and competing agendas. Number 3, the requirement of standardized testing. Schools are under more pressure to concentrate mainly on subjects assessed due to the emphasis on standardized testing. Since financial education is not a core component of standardized testing, it frequently receives less attention than topics that have a direct bearing on test scores. A restricted concentration on particular courses can result from the need to pass tests, leaving little room for financial education. Number 4. The education and experience of teachers. Proficient educators in effective teaching techniques and personal finance ideas are needed to deliver financial education. Many teachers, however, need more thorough financial education and training. Teachers could feel ill-equipped to teach financial literacy adequately if they lack the requisite knowledge. Educators should have access to professional development opportunities and training programs to close this gap. Number 5. Change resistance. The educational system is a bureaucratic, complex organization that frequently exhibits change resistance. Significant curriculum, teaching, and resource changes would be necessary to make financial education a required topic. Policymakers, educators, and parents who prioritize other topics or believe that financial education is best left to individual families or elective courses can all be sources of resistance to change. Now, let's talk about the consequences. Most people need to be made aware of the adverse effects that lack of financial education in schools has on young adults and society because if nothing changes, many people will continue to struggle with managing debt, budgeting, investing, and making wise financial decisions without a solid foundation in financial literacy. This ignorance can result in long-term financial problems such as excessive personal debt, insufficient retirement savings, and constrained economic mobility. Furthermore, the persistence of socioeconomic inequality is facilitated by the lack of financial knowledge. Students from low-income families are particularly vulnerable since they may not have been exposed to financial concepts at home. We deprive these pupils of the skills and information required to escape the cycle of poverty by excluding financial education from the core curriculum. Here is what we need to do. There is a gap in financial education that must be closed, and different stakeholders must work together. Policymakers, teachers, parents, and financial organizations are a few of these. Among some possible tactics are the following. Implementing comprehensive financial education standards at the national level will assure uniformity and prioritization. This is standardizing financial education. Allocating resources. Obtaining financing and resources for programs promoting financial literacy as well as for teacher development, teaching aids, and neighborhood collaborations. Training for teachers. Providing professional development opportunities and training courses to give teachers the information and abilities they need to effectively teach financial literacy. Integrating financial education across subjects. To strengthen practical applicability and relevance, financial literacy topics should be included in current subjects like arithmetic, economics, and social studies. Intelligent partnerships. Promoting cooperation between educational institutions, banks, and civic groups to give students access to more resources, mentorship initiatives, and practical learning opportunities. For many people in our society, the lack of financial education in our schools is a problem we can't afford to ignore anymore. Financial education must be given priority and incorporated into the core curriculum to close this gap. To help students make informed decisions, lessen their financial vulnerability, and contribute to their economic well-being, we must provide them with the knowledge and skills they need to manage their finances. It's time for decision makers in the public and private sectors, educators, and communities to acknowledge the value of financial education and adopt proactive measures to guarantee that all young adults have access to this crucial life skill. Yes, we all need to take action, and we can start at the local level where we live. You see, you can't wait for the federal government to solve this. Go find other like-minded people in your area and talk to your local legislators, senators, and state representatives and school board members to demand financial education classes for your kids. The government takes a lot of taxes from us, right? Well, this would be a good use of our tax money locally instead of sending billions of dollars out of the country to fund never-ending wars that have nothing to do with us. But what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and drop a like on this video. Thank you for making it to the end. For more great content, please watch this entire video. See you there.